What do you say we hang out for a little while, put our hands in some science goo, or hey, if you're feeling really frisky, we could crash an alien wedding. Coming up on today's show,
how far can you bend the rules in a place that already bends the rules? How far can you go to support your friend's wedding, even if it's not the best thing for him? And how do you put a warp slug back in a jar after it's been let out?
This week we are talking about Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 7, Cosine. Welcome to Mission Log Reactor, everybody. I'm John Champion.
I'm Jessica Lynn Verdi.
And we're back. Me, you, all of us, everybody gathered. We are back.
That's right.
We did it. We did it. So on to Episode 7. We're over the hump. We got just 4 more to go. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're done with Season 1 of Starfleet Academy. But this show, this is the one where we react, we respond in real time to the latest Star Trek episode as it happens.
I can't believe there's only just a few more episodes left. It feels like just yesterday that fall semester rolled around.
I know. We just got over the hump. There's only a few more to go. And I have loved hearing from everybody with their takes on Starfleet Academy. And if you would like to be among those people who share their takes, you can share your takes with us. You can leave a comment right here on YouTube. Or better yet, you can talk back to us live. Join us Monday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern at patreon.com/missionlog. Oh, wait. It's all free. All free for everyone. That's right. We will discuss with you, with our audience, your thoughts, your impressions, your questions. Again, it is free. But don't forget, Patreon subscribers get this very video, Mission Log Reactor, a day early.
For as little as $1. That part's not free, but it's a really great benefit.
It's worth it. It's worth it at twice the price.
I like that.
Yeah.
I said to my sister recently, she goes, God, this is only $15. Should I get it? I said, at $15 it was a rug. I said, at $15, you should, if you bought it and threw it away, you're still coming up. You
should buy 3 of them. And when one gets dirty, you just replace it with the other and, just keep going.
Yeah. 100%. Now, this doesn't segue at all well into what I'm about to say, but I'm going to make it work either way. This is a spoiler-full recap and review. John is going to spare no detail from this episode of Starfleet Academy. If you haven't watched Cosine, stop what you're doing, press pause, hit like, hit subscribe, watch the episode, and then come back. You can't get mad at us for saying that we didn't tell you. You can't. We told you. So, yeah. Spoilers.
I will co-sign that order, by the way.
We're each other's co-signed. Co-signed spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Have at it, John.
All right, here we go. Let's talk about Cosine. It has been a month since the Miyazaki incident, and spring break has arrived at Starfleet Academy. Terima is back home on Beta Z, still recovering. Caleb tries and fails multiple times to write her a letter. He just can't quite find the words, and things between them are clearly still complicated. Now, the cadets are preparing to depart the Athena for all worlds break, which is exactly what it sounds like. You travel anywhere in the Federation for some much-needed R&R. Genesis Live gets welcome news when Chancellor Ake recommends her for the Academy's pre-command track. Bravo, well done. Caleb is assigned to stay with a host family, but convinces Ake to let him remain aboard the Athena instead, choosing solitude and reflection over a getaway. Jaden Cragg prepares for a trip to Ibiza with Kyle, while Durham's plans take a sharp turn when he is suddenly ambushed, knocked unconscious, and dragged through a mysterious portal. Jaden, arriving just in time to witness it, doesn't hesitate. He jumps right through after him. Did you like my pronunciation? They say
I was really curious which way you were going to go.
Okay, with it. They say 2 different ways in the show, and I have heard Ibiza, I have heard Ibiza, and I've heard Ibiza.
Ibiza. I feel like Ibiza is like the same way Anglophiles say Italians. I feel like that's the really wrong way to say it.
My grandmother, rest her soul, my grandmother used to say Italy. And I'm like, where did you get that?
I kind of love it, though. Italy is fun.
Truly a micro Southernism,
And you're like, so much time is saved by saying Italy.
I know, I know. Think maybe it was Klingon. You put the apostrophe in there just to shorten
Italy.
things. You know, yeah.
Bless you. Yeah, I think, Ibiza is probably colloquially correct, but I do like that neither of them said, "No, it's Ibiza. No, it's Ibiza."
Right. We're
Um,
gonna do an hour on that. So
yeah,
anybody with your comments, drop them.
share them now.
Yeah.
Give us context.
Yes.
But yeah, I hate it. So
Okay. Okay, but here's what I do love, though. I love the idea of an all worlds break. I think
okay.
that's a super cool idea. For the record, I have been to Duluth, Jet Reno. I had a nice time. I wasn't there long, but I had a nice time.
I don't know if there's, like, actual information out on the internet about this, but I wonder if she isn't from Duluth
I
and she's like,
Sure. Yeah.
they're the but Duluth, yeah, I don't know anything about Duluth, but yeah, you have, like, ideas of it. It's
Yeah.
pretty funny. It was a
Yeah.
pretty cute little moment. I love that Kyle and Jaden were gonna go, like, on an away trip. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
cute.
and he had the Hawaiian shirt and, well, not Hawaii, but like the tropical kind of shirt. And yeah, yeah, that was very cool. Okay, I owe a huge apology to our audience, to everyone in the Star Trek world. And this is me not going back to the script for reference. Uh, Last week, when we lost our Vulcan classmate from the War College, every single time they said his name, it sounded like Bobby. And in
Mhm.
my head, I love Bobby the Vulcan.
Yep,
I want that to be real, but it
yep.
is B apostrophe AVI, Bavi. Now I'm hugely disappointed in myself and also the missed opportunity to have a Bobby the Vulcan.
I think you're not in the wrong, I think they are.
Okay.
I was dead set on it being Bobby,
It sounds
and I think
just like it.
it
Yeah.
does, and I think maybe that's the point,
Yeah.
kind of, and I think there's also I keep on saying the word failure, and that's really strong. They didn't, like, say his name enough for us to also get it, and
Sure.
granted, he's, like, a side character, but this actually reminds me of a improv rule. If
Uh-huh.
you've given somebody a name and you've not given it to yourself, actually, even if you give it to yourself,
Mhm.
you have to say the name 3 times. "Karen, did you want this? Oh, Karen, is your brother over here? Karen." So they
Yeah.
hear it. We didn't get that with Bobby. So, I think you're in the right, they're in the wrong, and it's both Bobby the Vulcan is, like, the next RPG character I'm gonna play for sure.
Perfect, perfect. Look, if
100%.
improvised next gen comes back, then then Bobby the Vulcan better be in there.
If it hasn't already happened, I'm
Yeah.
sure it will happen. I gotta ask you, you gave me some crap about calling the sex scene gratuitous last week.
Oh, no, it was a question. Is it gratuitous? But yeah.
Uh, I felt challenged. I felt
Okay.
offended.
All right.
Just kidding. Did we need to see him flash back to it while he's trying to compose his letter, or
Yeah,
and I am posing it as a question, did we need it? Probably not. Or is it just, like, a really good example of, like, a kid with hormones having, like, strong feelings, like, and getting them all confused? Like, what was the point? When we s and they flash back to it twice
yeah.
in this
Well, look,
episode.
both of those things are legitimate. We all have, look, I can't speak for everybody, but a vivid imagination, memories. Like I think that's okay in the context of the show, though. Like my original defense of that scene was just to say, like, at least it's in context. And here, I guess the question is, how much of what's going on in his head do we have to see? We know that they have the connection. We
Yes.
know that, yeah. So, 6 one, half dozen the other, maybe.
Yeah, it did feel like too much repetition for a series that's 10 episodes short
Yeah,
that will be watched in succession in this binge era. Granted, these episodes are being released 1 week at a time,
sure.
but, like, we've seen it. And yeah, I think we didn't need it while he's trying to be confused about how to reach out to this girl, I think. That's just
Good
where
point.
I'm at.
Good point. Now, when Caleb talks to Ake, he says something really weird here. They're having this contentious moment about the fact that Noose Braca got away without Ake probing to find out where Caleb's mother is. Now,
Yes.
granted, that was not the most important thing in the moment. I think Ake, at least from my position, can be forgiven, at least a little bit about that. But yes, it is an important storyline. In the reality of the episode, maybe it's not. But Caleb says something really interesting to Ake. Starfleet still does threats, right? I, do they?
When?
Is that how it works? Because
Now
she doesn't really reply to that.
she does.
No.
She doesn't go, "No, Caleb. With the threats is not how we do it."
Yeah.
But now maybe this is my ignorance peeking through, because also as a company, we really didn't talk about this very much. Were there threats in Section 31? And is that what they're talking about?
You just decided to get the biggest can of worms and just without hesitation, just like, oh, I'm just gonna rip off the top of that can of worms. Oh,
Yay!
oh, oh my. All right.
I mean,
We'll leave that to the listeners. Like, is it Section 31? Go ahead.
are they insisting upon itself in that
Oh,
way?
no.
Because it's part of the universe. But then why would Caleb know about it? I don't know. I don't mind wrestling some feathers. I didn't watch it, not gonna watch it. Apparently it's not that bad. I don't know. Forget
Yeah.
it. But I'm with you. I think the threats line was strange. She doesn't deter him from that thought process. But my big question, actually, there's a lot of like, hey, we're in the 32nd century. Why isn't this solved yet? Kind of questions.
Yeah.
Why is her laundry like why are suitcases still like this when they can just walk through a door and get their uniform put on them and
Exactly.
haircut?
That's what I want. Yeah. Yeah.
You
That
can't
is something.
program 7 outfits and not take any luggage somewhere?
Right, you could. You could, that would be brilliant. Yeah,
And also, you're telling me there isn't an alternative to zipping things up now?
right.
Or or making things fit? Or making
Yes.
like, cubes? I'm gonna say polycube because I just learned that word. Cubes to make things smaller? I mean, I love that she's a messy person, I really do, and I relate to her,
It's
and
all character based. Yeah, 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 I get
but
that.
it's really dumb, and it's still rolling, it's not floating. What the heck are we doing
I know.
32nd century? I'm over it.
I like all of that. By the way, and look, I know that this will be a thing in the episode about the tension, this kind of young love, and what's going on in Caleb's head, and what about Tarima? And it's not like everybody is connected in the 32nd century. Everybody's connected in the 21st century. Is it that hard to send a "yo, you okay" text, or just hit send, or for that matter, transport? It is All Worlds Day. I'm going to go to Beta Z. You could
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think it's I think you get this, because I think that's why we're supposed to be frustrated with Caleb. The contact should be so easy, and he is overthinking how to reach out to somebody who saved his life.
Yeah.
And I yeah, maybe we should talk about it a little bit more, because I am a victim, formerly mostly, of not reaching out even though I want to, because it's not in the exact right way. And
Mm,
so it
mhm.
keeps me from reaching out when in reality the person just wants to be reached out to. So
That is a very human thing. I also it sort of smacks a little bit of the built-in drama of the episode.
and
So
we already know they're like, she's like, "You're gonna never wanna see me again," and then she, like,
yeah,
orca screams and, like,
yeah. But it's
so
like
they don't have a lot of,
yeah,
trust yet in their relationship.
she saved everybody's lives. Like, come on, yeah. Like, there's that tension, but she's also a bit of a hero, and people care about her. And her father and brother might be like, "Hey, what happened to all your friends? What? Why aren't they here?"
Oh, I actually
Good
have
on
some big questions about, like, why isn't the father pulling them from the school? Why aren't
yeah,
there repercussions from other parents going, "What the heck did you put my daughter and son and kids through?" Like, the fact that there isn't, like, worse fallout,
yeah,
I'm sure they all sign waivers, but, like, this could have been an episode where we watched Beta Z go, "What in the actual heck?"
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
"What did we sign our kids back up for?"
Right.
So, we didn't get that. So, then their friends not showing up is the least of their concerns, I think.
By the way, Jessica, let me just say that I admire you so much right now with the inner strength you're showing to not swear on air.
It's
Um,
so painful,
I know,
John,
I know.
but I think the audience knows and superimposes the the curse words.
And for our audience to understand, it's not because YouTube puts some block on us or whatever. It's for the audio podcast that goes out, because it would have to be tagged and then it would get blocked from certain portions of our audience. So
I did it for seasons about Orville, and it was fine. For some reason, this series makes it really, makes it really difficult.
I know. All right, well, let's move on. Let's get back into the story here. Okay, now that portal that we talked about, it deposits Jaden on a sunset moon in the Keonian realm, where he believes he's interrupting Darum's torture, only to discover it's actually a Keonian marriage ritual. Same energy, through a series of misunderstandings. Now, Jaden is accidentally assigned the role of Cosine, essentially the best man, and quickly learns that Darum isn't just getting married, but marrying into Keonian royalty. Cue the inevitable and very awkward clash of cultures. Back aboard the Athena, Caleb is enjoying some sun and solitude, convinced that he has the ship to himself, until Genesis shows up, having ditched her dad at a dull conference and looking for trouble. Trouble arrives in the form of science lab roulette, where the two take turns sticking their hands into specimen jars to see if what's inside is toxic. This ill-advised game unleashes a rogue warp slug, and more importantly, surfaces the truth. Caleb is spiraling a bit, still hurt and confused by not hearing from Terima. By the way, you haven't written to her, Caleb. Back on the Sunset Moon, more context emerges. Kyra's royal parents were forced to abdicate early due to a health scare, accelerating the timeline for the wedding, or sealing. That explains the dramatic decision to abduct Darren directly from Starfleet Academy. As for whether he's actually okay with having his entire life rerouted on someone else's schedule, well, sure, absolutely, totally fine, definitely cool with all of this.
I can't believe he leaves and we never see him again after this episode.
And cut to the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's over. Yeah, it's just like really interesting to get rid of a main character this early in the series.
Oh, really bold.
Kyra, I love the different pronunciation of what was like a very popular name in the early 2000s for millennials, like naming the kids with Kira, Princess Kira, and Kyra is, and she's beautiful. And I actually, because we've talked about this and it's been kind of confirmed, I thought Kyra's cosine might also be a romantic partner for her.
Yes, I right? That up too. Yeah. They just they're fine with that.
I love that Keonia has a moon, a wedding moon.
Yeah, right. Well, why wouldn't you? It's sort of like going to the Poconos. They just have this place, that you can go.
You are Southern and like white bread Connecticut rolled into one. Like it's like that's your like higher form is the Southern guy. And then you go to a New England guy.
Look, I would have said Wisconsin Dells, but that's it's
not Keonian enough.
No, it's not. It's not. By the way, so we did reference it earlier. I thought that they were calling Jaden the cosign, like he was co-signing on a loan, like maybe Darren was getting a new apartment or a car. But then I think like in the writer's room, maybe that's how they landed on this Keonian word cosign. It was very like, what if he's, he has to be there. He's got a cosign. Ooh, I'd make that sound alien.
Cosign. It's very cute. And I don't think I'll ever forget it now because of that. I think like marrying the two really helps with that. I'd be remiss to mention that if I didn't mention that there has been a development in the Talaxian Furflies saga. It happened in the teaser. Apparently it's attacking somebody. So I'm just keeping a close eye on that. We're on Talaxian Furfly watch.
I'm sure there will be like a fanfic, like a comic book or something, everything the Furfly goes through in season 1.
Where is the merch?
Yeah.
Show me the merch. We need the merch. I do love that like Jaden has a big rock and is ready to like die for Darum. It is a very cute moment. It's
very in one hand, like
and you get the sense of how heavy it is when he drops it, when he realizes, oh, this is a bachelor party, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Let's go back to the Athena, see what's going on there. Not a great idea to stick your hand into random specimen jars. Although I thought in universe, if they really were dangerous, they wouldn't be out in the open on a shelf.
I think that's a good point.
Okay.
I hadn't considered that they wouldn't. Granted, they're accessing like a place they shouldn't be accessing anyway, but
All
like,
of it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I bet because toxic, non-toxic, and I love that like Caleb's like, you just made this up and it's really dumb.
Yeah.
Is a dumb game. I
Uh-huh.
feel like why not do random replicator programs and like eat the thing that shows up randomly?
Oh, I would 1,000% do that.
That's
Yeah.
more disgusting and fun.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I'm a brilliant hire me writers.
Yeah.
But my so you're right. Like, why is something like that toxic available? Why do they have a living being captured in a bottle?
I know. I
That's
wanted
very anti Star Trek.
I know, and I wanted to get I wanted to get to know the warp slug a little bit. Like, I thought it was kind of a cute idea, but
Cute.
yeah. Yeah. Why would you have him in there?
I feel like it's like the antithesis of like letting a living being do its thing. I don't really quite understand it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the whole thing is a little contrived. It's cute, but it's a little contrived.
Now, at this point, supposedly Jet Reno is out there making rounds. She's the only other person on the
Which we do
Athena.
know that.
We do know. It
Yeah.
has been said, but we haven't gotten to her yet. But wouldn't the ship's computer flag something like, "Oh, there's now a being that is loose flying around in the lab," or Genesis is great hack. What?
Oh, I guess if the I see the loophole or I see the hole that you're creating, and
Yeah,
it there should have been a something just warped in
yeah,
here.
right, right.
I mean, that should have happened with when Durham, they opened a wormhole, by the way, to remove him. There should have been like,
Sure.
"Hey, this is a breach. It's a breach of security."
I mean, well, here's this thing that there's this scene in Star Trek 6 where they're trying to find the supposed assassin of Gorkon and the other Klingons, and Valeris. They're in the galley, and Valeris fires a phaser and melts a big like pot of potatoes, right?
Okay.
But it sets off all the alarms because it's an unauthorized firing of a weapon. Now,
Discharge.
we've never had that before on Star Trek, but that introduces into canon the idea that you can't just go around firing weapons on a starship.
This is a very good and important point. I don't think a warp slug is a weapon, but it is like doing something.
But hey, we're about to get to that in Act 2, okay?
Oh, that's a good point. I do. This was a throwaway line, and I just want to talk about it before we move
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
I love that when Genesis finds Caleb and he's like lounging in the Delta sun.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it's a throwaway line. She's like, "Why are you wet?" He goes, "We have an aquarium."
Yeah.
He swam in their aquarium. They didn't go. What the heck?
Cetacean Ops is probably hanging out with the beluga whales in Station Ops.
It's a good
He's
point.
just like, yeah,
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really silly. He also like gives up his autonomy really quickly for Genesis. She's like, "Get up," and he's like, "All right."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of get it. Well, I think we'll get into that too. All
Well,
right.
there's a lot to get into. Shall we move right along, or anything else you want to
Yes.
talk about? Okay.
Let's do it. So aboard the Athena, Caleb and Genesis are still locked in a game of person versus warp slug. Situation nearly collapses when Jet Reno, there she is, wanders in, distracted and nursing a stubbed toe while on a call with Laura Thok. A lucky shot keeps the slug's goo from splattering evidence all over Reno, and just like that, disaster is narrowly averted. Caleb and Genesis share a look of pure relief, just relief, definitely nothing else simmering under the surface. Now, back on the Sunset Moon in the Poconos, the stakes shift. Durham explains that as Cosine, Jaden will be expected to give a toast at the sealing ceremony. More importantly, Durham reveals that he plans to leave Starfleet Academy altogether. The pull of family and cultural tradition is stronger than he expected. He can't let Kyra or the royal family down.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. So Jet Reno enters. We had already been teased that she was on board. By the way, we have a nice collection of model ships in the opening of that act. I always like to see that.
I missed it, or maybe I didn't and just didn't clock it. There have been some cool moments of that,
There have been
though.
a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This was kind of cool. Okay, but they're shooting something in the science lab. It's like a freeze ray, it's like a hypospray, but it makes noise and it discharges energy. And he's shooting it at the slug. And then Jet Reno's there, and Genesis takes this great shot. Thank goodness she's good, but it freezes the goo. Like, come on. Jet Reno, you're better than this. You would notice. Or maybe she does. She
I
doesn't say anything.
uh,
Mm,
here's the thing, Laura is yelling at her, and
true.
it's, so funny.
Yeah,
Like, she's mad at her for getting hurt and complaining about it, and then she's worried that when after she does the hypospray, she's gonna die. It's a
right.
lovely momentary arc. So I can give Jet the, benefit of the doubt that she's, like, distracted by her screaming spouse.
Yeah,
But I like, even when like, Caleb and Genesis, like, run when they realize Jet's about to come in there. Jet should have seen them through the window
yes,
there.
right. Yeah.
The shenanigans were not very good, and
They shenaned and then they shenan again.
they
Yeah,
do shenan again,
yeah.
and I think the only thing I can, like, give them, it kind of felt like Animal House-ish, this, like, whole, like, little antics, Animal House PG, was that because when Jet did her hypospray at 1, 2, 3, which who does that?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Jet could have not heard that because she thought it was the same hypospray sound. That was the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. No, I
And
get it. They tried to cover it. I'm not buying it.
no, I'm with you. Yeah, she's
Alright.
a little more obvious. She pays better attention than she has been written to here for sure.
Sure. And we're gonna get to a scene where she's hyper aware. We'll come to that a little
Yes.
bit later. Jessica, I need to ask, are we trying to make Caleb and Genesis a thing now? Please tell me we're not trying to make them a thing.
Okay, so I go back to episode 1 with them.
Sure.
When did they board? Is it 1?
Maybe it's 2.
When they meet.
Yeah,
It's
I
1.
it is, okay, okay.
I think so. Anyway, when she happens upon him, hacking, and she's not gonna tell anything.
Oh, right, of course, yeah.
So, I think that there's significance in the fact that this male and female
Mhm.
in a college setting, this is their first meeting, and that's the first characters we see. So we actually are kind of being set up by the writers, I would think,
Mm.
that this is a will they, won't they? And like, I think they have like a not so instantaneous gravitational pull as Tarima and Caleb do.
Yeah,
I guess I don't necessarily not ship it. It's there. I
okay.
think there is something there. What I think we're gonna see, and I wanna know if you agree with me or if you just don't like it at all. I I think these are endgame, and I think they're setting us up to see what this is
Oh,
gonna be,
okay. O
long term.
okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
it might be, and look, I've purposely looked at relationships in this show, like I did back in Vox and Excelso, and said, okay, there are scenes here that show closeness, that show intimacy, that don't necessarily have to be romantic, but then this is the YA version of Star Trek. So it's like by default, they're layering on, or you hand the actors the script and they kind of go, oh, well, wait, we can ramp this up a bit by playing it a bit closer.
which would make my, continuing criticism of this series, because we're dealing with younger actors,
Yep.
we're not getting a lot of nuance in these moments.
Yeah.
I think it's written in there kind of when Caleb's like, "It kinda took my mind off of it," or whatever,
Yeah.
and there's, like, some lingering moments with, like, Darum and Jayden, but I actually think the one who's acting the romance the best
Yeah.
is Kyle.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh
like,
my God. He's so just sort of like innocent and pure about it.
and
You know?
and you know how he feels, and I guess
Sure.
so
Yeah.
they're, like, not sure how they feel, yada, yada, and I'm with you.
Yeah.
I would prefer Caleb and Genesis not have a thing for the very reason that, again, like my criticism with Jayden and Darum, they don't need to have a sexual relationship. They could be two equals of a different gender.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. It's college, and everyone is interested in everybody at one point or another, because that's just how young adolescence
Yeah.
is.
Look, there is truth to that. There is absolutely truth to that. We're only given whatever it is, 52, 55 minutes a week on this, and only 10 seasons an episode. So it's like we have to compress everything, and like, oh, there's a romantic spark here and there's a romantic spark here, instead of giving things room to breathe.
And it's like annoying.
Yeah.
I think they couldn't, I think they can't make it a full-fledged thing right now, because if Caleb made a move on Genesis while he still can't text the other girl who sacrificed almost her life for saving
Yes.
everybody, there's no redemption after that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it has to be subtle, that there's a bond growing that's maybe deeper than just a sexual bond that Tarima and him have.
Hmm.
Again, maybe not so clear in the writing. 52 minutes, 1 hour, not a lot
Yeah.
of time to expand on it. I say I'm more angry at the full-on toe shot, and I think Tarantino is backseat directing all of these.
Did again. We did
What
all that with Holly Hunter with Ake before, and
what are we
now.
doing? What are we doing? I'm more mad about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. Hey, should we hit on Jaden and
A
Darren real
little bit.
quick? Yeah. I mean, I think what's interesting in the setup here is just the parallel of Jaden having this problem with his family, and feeling the pull of tradition and the weight of expectation, seeing that in Darren. I think that's the most interesting part of that plot.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's put it this way, from the moment we saw Jaden holding the shirt, not wanting to put it on, I knew he was going to end up with Darum somehow. And I think which is great. And
Yeah.
I just love a conceit like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at it exactly that way, John, so you're totally right. They have different responsibilities in different ways to be, and let's not forget, Darren's parents also kind of treat him like crap.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it is,
Mhm.
if we're shipping Darren and, oh, Dare
Oh no. What is it?
Darden?
Darren?
Darden or
J
Dem?
J Rem?
J-Rem?
J Rem?
Someone
Oh,
help me. All right, chat, we're looking to you in the audience. If we ship them, and I kinda do,
okay.
it's cute.
All right.
I think you're right that we're seeing opposite ends of the spectrum, a very similar spectrum, essentially. And it's nice that Jaden gets to see him in a different light in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah. All
It's
right.
sweet.
Well, let's pick it up then. Penultimate act here.
Oh,
All
great.
right. Back aboard the Athena, Caleb opens up to Genesis. His psychic connection with Tarima led him into some pretty dark emotional territory. That intimacy has made it harder, not easier, to reach out to her now. So Genesis pivots the conversation. Instead of dwelling on heartbreak, she proposes a new game: sneak onto the bridge. Caleb resists, but she pushes back. This isn't just about breaking rules, it's about carving out her own path. She doesn't want to be defined as her father's daughter. If she's going to pursue the pre-command track, she wants to do it on her own terms. Meanwhile, on the sunset moon, Jaden and Darum share an honest moment. Darum admits he's torn between Starfleet and the obligation of marriage. Jaden understands the pull of tradition, but when Darum takes a sharp jab about Klingons cutting and running from their families, Jaden's patience snaps. Back on the Athena, Caleb and Genesis successfully breach the bridge and fire up what is the most immersive game of Star Trek Online ever conceived. But when Genesis pushes the simulation too far, Caleb shuts it down. Her real motive surfaces. She's accessed a key to her academic transcripts and wants to make edits before her pre-command evaluation. Their jig is up when Jet Reno walks in, and yes, they are very much in trouble.
The Star Trek Online faction has freaked out at your mention. That is so funny, John.
That's it. Hashtag share us, like it, play Star Trek Online.
STL, let's go.
Yeah.
I think I hate this idea of going on the bridge. It's so dumb. And
Yeah.
it feels contrived. Again, I'm not getting the nuance as to why she wants to go onto the bridge. it gets revealed, but I didn't realize there was something more to that. I thought she really was saying, I need to be on the bridge to figure out if I'm worthy of this. Like, I just thought that was, it didn't ring true. It felt
Yeah.
weird to me.
Well, that's the thing. It didn't need to be there. And yeah, there's a lot about that I'm not buying. Like I've said nearly from the beginning, if we're going to follow each character on their own arc, I think Genesis is one of the most interesting to follow
Yeah.
because she's so smart, she's so capable, she's so driven, but there are issues about her drive. That's all fascinating stuff to unpack. I don't know if this was the way to do it.
Yeah, it made her really there's a lot that was revealed about her. We really haven't gotten a dedicated episode to Genesis,
Yeah.
and I think that's also their way of saying, "Shit, this is a big character," which is kind of strange because also we're not getting enough of Caleb too. Even though we're getting them together,
Right.
we're not getting them in like interesting scenarios and focusing on them. It's probably going to be my overall criticism for this series as things are shaping up.
Well,
But
and honestly, just for this episode, I think, without skipping totally to the end, I think they more successfully give us an arc with Darum here because by the end of the episode, we can go like, oh, okay, he is actually, there is some decency underneath that. There is something, maybe not broken, but just something that needs to be kind of soothed a bit. It's a little more understandable now. With Genesis, it's just like, look, I was pulling for you anyway. Do I buy that this is your burning trauma? I don't know necessarily that I
Well,
do.
or like, I guess maybe would you have bought it if she's, like, actually trying to like, subterfuge her career path? Like, could that I maybe it's an
That's,
obvious choice, but
yeah, yeah. I think that might have actually been a little more interesting. That okay,
as
might be
someone
onto something
who's
there.
got that kinda insecurity that we come to find out in the following act, like, yeah, you would self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if it's a totally obvious choice, but what she does here and why is pretty crappy, and she puts Caleb on the hook, which is also he says they could get court-martialed for this. What are you doing, girl? Like,
And by the way, just to drive home maybe the pull that she has on him and this question, are we shipping them at all? All right. We open the act where they're laying down on this circular platform. They're at opposite angles, but their heads are right next to each other. I'm sorry. That is just like ripped right out of, kind of romance movie
Spider-Man.
contrivance. Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, okay, you're doing that scene because it does drive home this romantic angle.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. People don't just, please correct me if I'm wrong. People don't just accidentally end up in that angle, right?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't. It reminded me this is gonna be so silly. I was in a summer school for theater,
Hmm.
and I loved this boy, John. I loved him.
Aw.
And one of the teachers was very woo-woo. She was awesome. It was all about voice, and she would lead us through guided meditations,
Hmm.
like, every other class, which is almost every other day. And, imagine putting, like, amped up teenagers to sleep. It was a wonderful experience, and one of the times me and a boy were, like, literally just touching pinkies while we were
Uh,
supposed to be my I couldn't breathe. It was the best of my but, like, we
you're
had
getting a little worked
vision.
up right now, honestly.
Say
So
that again?
you're getting a little worked up right
I
now.
know, it just was,
So,
like, pure childhood innocence, and then he dated my friend Rachel, and I was very upset. But it was, like, I can recall doing the thing where you purposely, like, put yourself somewhere so it looks
yep.
like it's casual,
Yep.
but you're close enough to them. Like, what it looked like to me is somehow they wanted to be that close to each other faces,
Mhm.
but, like, be chill about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yep.
I don't wanna go back to that age, John. I did this. I did it. No, it's very do we get this is the scene where we get to see, Darum rip the jacket, is that correct?
Is that right? Oh yeah, it is. It is. Okay, so on the wedding planet, they're having this bit with the wedding attire, and I do like kind of the shade that Jaden is throwing at Darum. Like, that's fun. He's uncomfortable, but he's also just like, oh yeah, this is cool, huh? Oh yeah, right.
Oh, it's
Sure.
really cool. I just it's some very good sarcasm.
It is. But and by the way, hats off, because I think for an actor playing a Klingon under makeup, and Michael Dorn did it for decades, also being able to reveal like personal moments, it's a challenge. It's done very well. Um, but we also push these two together in the scene again of intimacy. Read it how you like it. But I think mostly well done, because there's a little levity. It mostly works for me. How about you?
It does. I think it's cute. I think I didn't see the let me put the jacket on as like I didn't see that coming, but when it happened, I was like, oh, that makes sense. And
Yeah,
they like each other and it's
yeah,
cute. I think what I'm more frustrated with is they basically repeated the beat and then Darum just gets mad and nasty because we
yes,
had
yeah,
the first scene where Darum explains what he's going through. Then we have this repeat essentially where there was kind of a nice bookend to Darum kind of having a panic attack and, Jayden helping him, like how Darum helped Jayden in the
hmm,
debate episode. But I just felt like they could have given us a longer scene with them and watched them go through this and figure it out as opposed to and now second scene.
yeah.
So I think it was just we could have lived in their discomfort and trying to sort it out better. I think that was the thing I was most frustrated with. What about you? Did it work or did it not work for you?
I think it kind of does. I mean, yeah, it might be like you just said, playing the same beat over and over. Maybe that's the best version of this that they've found. I think it's okay, and I
Yeah.
think what we keep doing, this dance that they have with each other, is okay. Jaden has no respect for Darum, because Darum is crass and can be rude, etc. And of course, there is that kind of attraction. Again, how are you going to play it? Whatever, they still have to find their shared, and again, wrong word because they're not human, but the shared humanity, that they can find equal ground.
Morality.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. By the way, with all credit to our friend Adam over at Greatest Generation, we were talking last night about this episode, and he pointed out something that I think is very important. So I'm going to pose it to our audience as well, because they're posing it to their audience. Um,
Okay.
in episode one, Darum, the Keonian, turns blue when he goes to his natural form in order to do that spacewalk without a spacesuit on. Why are all the Keonians looking human when they are in their natural habitat?
They're not in their natural habitat.
They're on their wedding moon. They're
He says the wedding moon was once an ocean.
Yeah,
That's why they were able and that it dried up. So I think the insinuation is that the Kionian planet itself is an ocean. That's why they live in scales. I don't know why they could be in scales now, but this is a dried up planet that they can warp to because it is not all water like it used to be.
okay. So they're like, well, we're gonna get married. I guess we have to look human for that.
Which is dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Um, but I think I am frustrated with how rarely we see Darum in his normal
Yeah,
attire. Like I really,
I wanna
I
see
think it's
more of
really
that.
weird choices. What they tried to wash it away with. This is the only way we could have warped here or wormholed here because you can't wormhole into the water, I guess. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
sorry to burst Adam's bubble. I love me some Adam, so I'm curious to see what their audience and our audience says, but I think they tried to talk it away that way.
I like, look, you and I have both presented each other with in-universe kind of ways to explain certain things that seem very inconsistent. Shout out to Larry Nemechek and James Kerwin for doing their canon smoothing. This is
Yes,
all stuff that we may be able to fit in one day, a decade from now, and see if it still sticks.
that's exactly. Yeah, I can't wait to come back to this when we're like, "Oh, yes, I remember when
Right,
they warped there and they
right.
just wanted to save money on the budget." Uh,
um,
uh, I just get so mad though with Darren being so mean to Jaden here, at the end. It's so mean. Anything else? Any other thoughts before
Yeah,
we?
can I just point out one thing? When
Yes,
we're
of
back
course.
to Caleb and Genesis on the bridge, and they're having this moment of truth about Genesis stealing this key to get to her transcripts, they do the thing that I know it's just sort of like it's baked into the cake of Star Trek dramatic moments where two characters are having a conversation. The third character is on the other side of the wall behind a door. The door opens, and then that third character responds to what the first two were talking about. You can't do that.
It's not how that works.
No, but they did that here. They did
Yes.
that here. And look, I love Jet Reno. I love everything about that character, but ah, it's like I know for 99% of the audience, a moment like that, it just whizzes right by because you're in the dramatic flow. I get that, but I notice it every single time.
That's so funny. There's things like that that bother my boyfriend. Like, why did they keep the camera running to expose the bad guy? Wouldn't have someone pulled the feed? Like those
Right,
kind of things.
right.
What to go back to the improv when though it's kind of like when two characters go to the side to have like a private one-on-one,
Yeah,
and then the third person goes, I heard that.
yeah, yes,
God.
exactly.
And you get that momentary laugh, but it doesn't make any sense and you screwed everybody.
Yeah.
She got a laugh, but I'm with you. It's annoying. I didn't catch it though, but you're right.
Go back and now you won't be able to miss it.
Ruined
You won't be able to see
ruined
anything else.
viewership for me.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring this thing home. The Keonian sealing ceremony begins. Darum and Kyra complete the traditional rites. The kiss, the toast, the words from the cosign. Hey, Jaden never went back to Earth as planned. Instead, he stands beside his friend and delivers a heartfelt speech. There's reconciliation here, forgiveness, there's respect, and Jaden honors Darum's willingness to put family first, even at personal cost. It feels like a goodbye between two friends who have finally learned to understand each other. Back aboard the Athena, consequences arrive. Chancellor Ake confronts Caleb and Genesis. The bridge break in was all part of Genesis' attempt to delete altered letters of reference from her original Academy application. She admits her drive is rooted in fear of never being enough. Ake doesn't excuse it, but she reframes it. Recognizing a flaw gives you something to work on. Genesis loses her recommendation for the pre-command track, and both she and Caleb are sentenced to 200 hours of menial labor. Then comes the real surprise. Back on the wedding planet, Kyra gives Darum a gift. Not obligation, but freedom. Inspired by Jaden's words, she asks him to abdicate and return to Starfleet. She knows he'll never truly be happy if he sacrifices himself for tradition alone. So Jaden and Darum return to San Francisco with a clearer, more honest friendship. On the Athena, Caleb reminds Genesis that she's still standing. She survived the worst, but Caleb has unfinished business. He stops overthinking. He records a letter to Terima. He opens his heart, and this time he hits send.
I'm glad he did.
Well, you knew he had to because they started playing the music. You know.
Why don't we have meteor showers like that on Earth now? And they do then.
I know. It's unfortunate. Maybe it's sort of like AR enhanced.
Oh, it could be.
Maybe
Is there?
that.
Am I misremembering something that like the moon was destroyed in one of the Star Trek situations?
Praxis, the Klingon moon, was destroyed.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
according to Enterprise, we do have bases on the moon, and I forget our listeners can tell us who was actually born on the moon. I can't remember if it
Oh.
was Geordi. I'm not sure. I know I got that wrong, but anyway. Yeah.
No, very cute. I could then maybe picture it be pieces of the moon that's crumbling apart. Cowboy Bebop there is
Oh,
or something
okay.
like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not that. It's just really cool looking meteor showers that we don't
Beautiful.
get. But
Yeah.
you're probably right. It is enhanced. I just have a question.
Oh, so many, but go
I
ahead.
know, I
Yeah.
know. How does Jaden know that Kyra has released Darum from marriage so much so that he's like, all right, let's go home after there's not even an exchange of oh, I know, man. Like whatever.
Right.
It's weird. It's weird. It's like time saving, but it's maybe like we're supposed to understand they're so connected that he can read. I don't know, man.
That's
It's
interesting.
weird.
They do fast forward right through that. It feels like there's a scene missing.
But yeah, because you watch Jaden watch them
Yeah,
have the conversation, which is good. And
yeah,
she said something really interesting, like you were starting our marriage off on a lie.
yeah.
And I think she kind of said that just like give him a little bit of freedom to go too.
Yeah. Look, I will have to hand it to Kyra and Darum because they went ahead with the ceremony. They got to have the party. There was champagne earlier when we saw the ritual at first when Jaden walked in on everybody. However, when you call off a marriage like that, when you annul it, you got to send the gifts back.
Oh,
So I know it's too bad. But hey, look, if you're royalty, I'm sure you can get more. It's okay.
you probably are doing fine if you're royalty.
You're fine. Yeah. Jaden's best man speech I thought was very good. It was very heartfelt because that's the way Jaden speaks now. It is heartfelt. It is honest. I don't think he was being manipulative at all.
I didn't get that.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm with
Okay.
you.
Yeah, I think you could look at it that way, but I think he is very pure of heart.
I
Yeah.
actually would have not given anyone guff if they had made it, "Come on, man, you don't wanna do this."
Yeah.
I think he truly came back with his heart in his hand and going, "If this is what you want, I support you, I will miss you." It really did read that way, and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think it made the choice of Kyra releasing Darum in so many words, better and more earnest, I think,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
as opposed yeah, so I'm inclined to agree with you, I guess is my point.
Okay. Well, let's take us back to the Athena here, where Ake spells out one of the lessons of the show by telling Genesis, here's the lesson. We are all wildly flawed, and we have to learn to carry that. Um,
Yeah, she doesn't give anyone, like, a second to go, "Well, what did you learn?"
yeah, right, right.
But she does spell it out, and I think it harkens to what you've been pointing out really smartly throughout the series. The myth versus reality
Mm,
also is interesting. Um, I guess I just have a hard time believing why Genesis would have changed the transcripts or,
yeah,
it's just interesting, but I do love the moral actually is like, you have a target, you know now what your flaw is, and I think
yeah,
there's something really freeing for all of us if we can metabolize that everyone's screwed up in one way or another. Everyone's either coming off a trauma, dealing with the trauma, because I have a tendency to think that the world is all about me and how I'm experiencing it, and I'm the problem. Everyone's got crap.
yeah.
And but how cool for Genesis to know it. I think that is a
Mhm.
beautiful takeaway. I was wondering how much Ake was speaking to herself because she she got faced with some pretty difficult truths by Noose in the previous episode. There's not a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of fallout for how she got reamed, I think.
yeah, yeah. I think she's still smarting from that.
I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I like when Darum and Jaden get back to the Athena and Kyle, he's so oblivious, waving from the other end of the room. And they go to like totally awkward. Ah, look at my sunburn. He's
I feel so bad for Kyle because he's headed towards heartbreak because
totally, yeah,
like, he doesn't realize that Darum doesn't like him because Darum likes Jaden.
yeah,
Like, do you not get that?
yeah,
What a sweet summer child, as one would say.
yeah.
Poor baby. My question again, you haven't solved the suitcases problem.
Right. Nope, not at all.
Can't solve sunburns?
If only there
I
were a
would
good
say
doctor around.
oh,
Yeah.
well, he's not, right?
Yeah.
I guess he's all worlding too.
Yeah, maybe so. So I guess we can't do that. Now, okay, the end moment. So we
Yeah.
know if you open the show with the letter that isn't sent, it's Chekhov's letter. Not
Oh,
Pavel Chekhov's letter, Anton
no.
Chekhov's letter.
Yes.
If you open with it, it's got to get sent by the end. Um, but we send it under monologue with a montage and the plaintive acoustic guitar. And my note to myself, it's fine. I'm not like I'm not outright feeling hostile toward it. It's
Yes.
it is literally the most obvious creative choice.
So the acoustic, a fiend for sad boy acoustic music.
Okay.
Fiend for it. So I'm like,
Right.
this works. It works. It's
Okay.
and he's being earnest and vulnerable until
Uh-huh.
the singer starts singing.
And that ruins it.
And
Yeah.
it's this you went like how
Uh-huh.
they all sing with this affectation, and it's so upsetting.
Yeah.
But, like, you're right. It's like he's like, "Heartstrings, let's play them," and it's a little obvious, and I think you're exactly right. I can't add any more to "It was fine."
Okay, fair enough.
I think you're exactly right. I do love favorite moment is when, Darum's a jerk yet again to Kyle, and, I can't say it because 'cause I'm not allowed to curse, but,
Oh, yeah,
Jada
yeah,
anal.
yeah.
Very funny, very
Yeah.
that's a funny moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, look, by the way, folks, if you're new to this show, that's how it works. We go act by act, and we give our criticisms, critiques, even, fun, light moments, stuff that we liked per act. But now we get to wrap it up a bit, and we get to point out some of the standout moments or open questions we might have. Is that your standout moment?
No.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, yeah, that's the stand
That,
I guess
that
that's
is
I
okay.
guess.
I think this episode is light on them.
Yeah.
I did mention earlier there's a scene where Jaden and Darum they're in their wedding attire and kind of stuff's ripping apart, whatever. And Jaden just has this sort of like, yeah, cool, where
Very funny.
it totally blows off the importance of the thing. It's a nice little character moment. Uh,
Kyra's outfit's great.
yeah, stunning. Yeah,
Beautiful,
yeah,
because that stands out for me. Yeah, I think this is a milquetoast
yeah.
episode that doesn't have a lot going for it. I think that's a good
That's the way to look at it. How about questions going forward?
yeah, overarching question.
Yeah,
Is Caleb actually the lead of this show? Because I'm not getting enough of him. I'm not getting what he's learning, how he's learning it, what he's going through. And I know they're trying to give it to us in pieces and trying to talk about a lot of story, but I feel like they're missing the mark with Caleb. So I'm curious.
that is such a good I would love to know. And if I worked in a place where there were people who were connected to this production, I might be able to ask. but
Yeah, probably impossible, but
but right, right. But I would love to know, okay, as the story is unfolding on the page, before you film anything, does anybody say, hey, we're kicking off with this important premise about Caleb and his mother, and Caleb is the most important character from the beginning? Uh, are we consciously deciding to tone that down so we can come back with a big finish? Or do we realize, wait, there are just all these other really interesting characters to talk about, and we just like writing them? Because honestly, I am more interested in uh, Genesis and in Jaden for sure. We got a great Jaden
Sam.
episode. Sam, there's all these interesting places to explore. And with Caleb, I just feel like when we get to the point that we solve the mystery of the mother,
Are we gonna care?
yeah, that's over. And I don't know how much I'm really going to be invested. You know?
Yeah, I think you're bringing up a really good question. It's probably hard to answer or to get someone to answer honestly. I think it's
Yeah.
very antithesis of Trek to have one pinnacle character, but that's how they tried to drop us into it, and they're kind of resigning that promise. So
Yeah.
I'm struggling with that a little bit. I will say Sandro, the actor, is doing his darndest. He's so cute.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
yoked. This
Yeah.
whole
Yes. Yeah.
like, he's doing everything he can with what he has. I think they're doing him a disservice. So, or they're making a promise and writing a check they didn't keep. So we'll see what
Could be.
happens.
Could be. I'm super curious to see how long it will take Genesis to work her way out of this predicament, because
Ah,
you can say the lesson, but does it stick? And is there some sort of light at the end of the tunnel here? You mentioned in a note that I don't think you got to, which is Caleb right now just has all the community service.
oh, he is basically
Yeah.
the janitor at
Right.
this school.
Right. Right. That's all he does now. But
Yeah.
but Janice is a little bit different situation because she's so talented. So what will happen there if you give her the hard work? Do we come back in a year? Do we come back in 2 years? Like, hey, you know what? We're going to reconsider. because we like your talent.
Yeah, I think I thought it was interesting to put her on the pre-command track right away, and,
Yeah.
like, season 1, I was like, "Wow, she's out the gate." So I do think it's smart to pull that back and, like, c carrot her a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this flaw, now that it's been laid out for us really clearly, gets worked on in her. I think it's a really good thing and fun thing to watch. John,
Yeah.
I, have been keeping it polished for you, speaking of menial labor.
Yes.
Would you like your soapbox?
Could you would you be so kind as to slide that over here?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, because I do have a final thought about this
Wonderful.
episode. And I wonder, because I feel like you and I are both a little lukewarm on
Yes.
this one. And I wonder if I'm finding the same things here that you are. So here we go. One thing that I was, I guess, amused by is that there are shades of the Star Trek original series episode Amok Time right here. Now, look, there's no ritual combat to the death, but we do get this culturally guarded,
Sure.
politically charged, arranged marriage.
And it kinda looks like Vulcan too,
It
the
does,
moon that they're on, yeah.
right, we have this desert, stark setting, so there are definite parallels there. And by the way, so the outsider stumbles in, baffled by all the social implications. Maybe there's a little danger. So it's not a one-to-one homage, but the DNA is definitely there, and structurally there's this nice parallel.
Yeah,
So
I think that's right.
I think that's fine. That's totally acceptable. That is exactly the kind of Star Trek homage I like to see, where it's not like hitting you over the head, like, "Hey, remember Kirk over here?" Blah blah. Blah. Like, no, no. This is just like tonally, we're going to shape this story.
Yes, I think that's right.
So I thought that was nice. Also,
Yeah.
going back to the wedding planet or the moon, sunset moon. I really like this emotional parallel between Jaden and Darren, because Jaden knows what it feels like to be pulled in different directions by tradition and personal identity. So that level of empathy gives the Keonian story weight, even if the tone is maybe a little off center.
I think it's a good point.
Okay. So now the tonal wobble, that's going to be an astronomical term that I will introduce to our show.
Tonal Wobble,
Tonal
everybody. That's a
wobble.
good band name.
There
Well,
we go.
yeah, kinda.
Okay, so that's where that's what I need to get into for this episode. All right, so we just came off of this intense, high stakes episode in Come Let's Away. We all remember the Miyazaki. Never forget the Miyazaki.
Never forget the Miyazaki.
So that episode left characters injured, emotionally shaken. They had real consequences. There were deaths. So if it makes sense structurally to follow that with something lighter and more personal or relationship driven, you have to break the tension. Fine. It's sort of this classic pattern. Star Trek: The Next Generation did it after The Best of Both Worlds with family, grounding that epic arc with its emotional fallout. Remember? All right.
No, I know, but I
Yeah.
think they didn't give us emotional fallout in this episode.
Bingo. Bingo. So I understand why Academy is attempting something here. The problem is execution. So the wedding comedy leans in a little too hard to the levity, and the Genesis storyline pushes a little too far into unhinged, maybe unbelievable territory.
Yep.
Would she really risk everything by breaking into the bridge and changing her transcripts? So just as the previous episode asked us to swallow a big premise, this one asks us to accept behavior that feels really out of scale.
That's a good point. Wobbly, tonally wobbly.
Really wobbly, right? Right. But here's where I give the episode credit. Genesis faces consequences. So after 800 years of Starfleet storytelling, this is a rarity. When a young cadet named James T. Kirk cheated on the Kobayashi Maru, he patted himself on the back, and it was ingenuity, and he was rewarded with command. Now, Genesis tries to cheat her way onto the fast track, and when she gets caught, she loses everything. There's no excuse. There's no, oh, but she was special. And I'm here to tell you that that is very refreshing.
Yeah, I love that. She didn't lose everything. I think the consequences were apt.
Yeah,
She got to stay in the school because it wasn't contingent on that. But yeah, she's
sure.
gotten taken off the pre-command track.
Yeah, she the one thing that she wanted gets taken
Mhm.
away from her. And
That's
you know, look, we haven't met the admiral yet, but I don't know how she's going to save face in front of him or anybody else, like the people who wrote those letters of recommendation.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
point.
but it's a nice change, and maybe, just maybe, the institution of Starfleet is finally serious about accountability when it comes to that. So I definitely have my critiques, my problems with this episode, but I'm going to leave you with something that I think is actually meaningful here. Every storyline in this episode is about truth. And it's something we've seen in previous episodes too. Darum has to admit what he wants. Genesis has to admit what's driving her. Caleb has to stop hiding behind silence. He's got to hit send. Damn it. He's got to do that, right? So these are all resets, but they're honest resets. And we've seen this arc before. Of course, Jaden and Vox and Excelso, and Sam in Series Acclamation Mill. So the pattern for these characters is very clear. In a world, if I may stretch this out a bit, where facing uncomfortable personal truth feels increasingly quite rare, I appreciate fiction that encourages it, even if it's in an imperfect episode like this one. So the episode reaches too hard in places, but at its heart, it's arguing that growth begins with honesty. And that right there is the message worth keeping.
I think it's a very good message. And I don't think it's hard to extrapolate from this episode, but you kind of do need to take away a couple of the things to get there. But Genesis is giving Caleb wonderful advice, though not taking it for herself. Darum's accepting himself for who he is. And I love the pointing out of consequences. I think that's exactly right.
Look, I don't think by any stretch this is the worst episode of Star Trek ever made. I think it is, as we've been saying, it is tonally inconsistent. They're aiming for something that they don't quite reach, and we don't actually get the emotional fallout from the Miyazaki. What we're trying to get is the personal story after the Miyazaki. And again, it's this missed opportunity. But I will remind our listeners for the main Mission Log show, you take an episode that is much maligned, like Spock's brain. And when we got to that, everybody was like, oh, it's the worst, it's terrible. How are you going to break that down? It became a wonderful conversation because there were ideas there. And I think this, again, for all the criticism we can hurl at cosine or cosine, however you want to say it, there are ideas there worth talking about, but maybe it's okay if this one doesn't fire on all cylinders. Maybe both nacelles aren't working in tandem.
They're just on impulse thrusters, and they're trying to get to the last 3 episodes.
Right.
I think overall, this is a symptom of 10 episodes a season streaming culture. I think you're trying to ham-fist a lot of things, and I think we're going to see more of that as we careen towards the end of this series.
Wait, just 3 more to go. Unbelievable.
Crazy. This has been a very enjoyable journey with you so far, John. We are loving Mission Log Live. You guys are coming in with some beautiful thoughts that just leave me better off on a Monday night than I started. So make sure to check out the link below. Check out our Patreon. Don't not join us. It's free.
By the way, if anybody missed us for the live conversation, specifically about Series Acclamation Mill, it was heartfelt. It was argumentative. I loved every second of it. So if you're new to Reactor and you haven't checked out Mission Log Live yet, you can get that in the podcast feed for Mission Log Live. You can also get it for free, I'll remind you, at patreon.com/Mission Log. Jessica, we did it. Episode 7 in the can.
That's what's up. See you next week. Starfleet Academy.
All right. We'll see you then.